Welcome to Smashing PBs, brought to you by 40 Thieves Nut Butters, New Zealand's best peanut butter for fueling everyday and epic adventures. I'm your host, Shyr Godfrey. Join me for inspiring conversations with Kiwis who push boundaries, do things differently, and smash their personal bests.
In this episode, I'm talking to Sally Duxfield. Through her time in the military, her leadership programs, and her passion for neuroscience, Sally delves into how mastering our daily habits will change our lives. We cover sleep, phone addiction, and so much more.
Good morning, Sally. Thank you so much for coming on the Smashing PBs podcast. I'm really happy to have you on as a guest. I'm excited about this episode. You've got lots of wisdom that I've already heard, some of it in the past. But yeah, how's your day been? How are you going?
It's been great. Thanks so much for having me. It's delightful to be here. Great. I started this morning at 7 o'clock with one of my coaching clients. He's a CEO of a large organisation, and we spent a couple of hours over breakfast together. But what was really interesting was we started with his family life, and we talked about how Dad could be present when he walked in the door, because he's only in his 40s, he's got great expectations in the professional environment, but to sustain performance and be supported, he's actually got to be a really good dad first. So we were just talking through what he could do around sleep performance, and also being present for his kids. So yeah, we started there, and we'll work our way through to the boardroom in due course.
I love it. I think that's something people often talk about, work-life balance. And I feel like, yeah, especially if you're in your own business, or if, as you say, are a CEO or, dedicated to what you're doing, there isn't always a balance as such. It's just figuring out which bit gets the most attention at that particular moment.
Yeah, and I've always said there's no such thing as work-life balance. It's a fallacy.
Wow.
So basically it's a phase of your life.
Yes. And
at certain phases you're a 100-hour-a-week woman, and at some of your phases you can, change that balance, or that application of your energy. But it's just about where you're putting your energy.
Yes.
No such thing as work-life balance.
I love
Doesn't
it.
work.
I can finally feel good about the fact that I have no balance. So that's great.
No balance is good.
Okay. I want to start from, I guess, the why. You've spent years helping high performers build structure, balance, and impact. When and why did you realise you're so passionate about this?
Good question. So what I found in my military times was that we needed to, when things got tough, when people were uncomfortable, people didn't handle discomfort very well. And yes. I think it's a reflection. I mean, I'm in my 60s now, so I'm quite old, quite near death. So I think now we're even in a worse situation with young people. As soon as there's friction and we become uncomfortable, we pick up our phones. Yes. And we find some dopamine. Whereas 100%. In the olden days, when I walked home from school in the snow, barefoot, uphill both ways, I was used to boredom. Yes. I was used to entertaining myself, yes. Walking outside, finding a tree to climb, do something like that. Nowadays, you travel on a bus or public transport and nobody is looking out the window.
You're so right.
Everybody is ingrained in their phone, and they're getting noradrenaline, norepinephrine, which is it's a focus neurotransmitter, but it also drives agitation and movement. So many people will say to me, I can't focus. I must
yes.
have ADHD.
Yes.
In fact, you're probably just a drug addict. You've probably got too much dopamine. You're just driven by dopamine's a motivation and a forward movement neurotransmitter. So it drives movement, it drives motivation.
Yes.
And then you couple that with norepinephrine, because your eyes are really focused on your screen. When your visual aperture is narrow, it increases your noradrenaline, which means your focus increases, which you're constantly hypervigilant and constantly looking for more entertainment, more pleasure. And so I found from my military days that I needed to understand neurobiology,
yes.
not psychology, because smart people become really dumb under pressure.
Wow.
And you'll have it in your business. Like, you'll
yes.
pass on a message, you'll ask somebody to do something, and you'll come back and you go, what the and they're like, how did that smart person come up with that?
Yes.
It's not logical. It's not logical because the brain is not logical under stress. Once you get a stress load, your prefrontal cortex is shutting down by about 60 to 80%. So 2 minutes into stress and somebody is 60% more stupid than they were 2 minutes ago. And gosh. I don't know what their baseline is, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. So I wanted to study it. That's how I got into it.
I mean, that's really, like, you have just dumped a lot of incredible stuff. I don't even know where to take from there, but I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with the phone addiction. I'm going to go onto that quickly. I can put my hand up and say, I would say I'm addicted to my phone. I think part of the problem is that there are so many different functions that your phone has. But when you pick it up, your brain forgets what the particular task that you were supposed to do. Or you might have to, so say, one, it does your email so you can get on with work at any particular time in the middle of the night or whatever it is. So that's problematic in itself. But then you can also, you might want to just take a photo, but then it shows you your previous photos. Or you might want to check a message that came through, but then it'll have like 5 other messages. So you click into one of those. And so in that message, somebody shared a video. So when you click that video, you look into there. And then next thing you know it, you're on some social media platform looking at 100 videos. And then you kind of can't even remember why on earth you picked up your phone. So it's a huge problem that we're all sort of, and there's no, I don't know how we're going to get out of it really.
It's actually really simple.
Okay.
So one of the things is you need to clean up your phone.
Yes.
So dopamine is more addictive than alcohol and nicotine.
Yes.
And dopamine, we start with a baseline dopamine, just a really average motivation. And then we, for example, could pick up our phone and look at some reels.
Yes.
We would increase our baseline dopamine by about 350%.
Crazy.
Within 11 to 15 minutes, not only has it dropped back to baseline, but it's dropped below baseline.
Yes.
So we want more reels.
Yes.
But the next time we continue reeling is that those dopamine receptors, they take about an hour to refill. So when they've dispersed, and she doesn't drip feed, dopamine is like the big party girl, and vomits. She technically goes bleh, and she fires up your adrenal system. So now you've got the energy and the motivation to keep reeling.
Yeah.
But on the second, when you drop after that 11 minutes or so of being on your phone, and we really, for the listeners, start thinking about when you're on your phone, pay attention to how quickly you start moving through your reels.
Yes.
And you start off quite slowly and you can watch for 30 seconds or a minute, and then next minute you'd like 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds.
Yes.
And the second dose of dopamine is about 25% of that first dose. So you're then getting, it's a bit like if I use a glass of wine. I'm an ex-military officer, so I'm a very competent drinker, and I'm not a quitter. So we'll come back to alcohol in due course.
Okay.
But for the first glass of wine, say it's a 250% increase in baseline. Within 11 to 15 minutes, your brain is saying, perhaps you could get another one of those. But the second glass of wine doesn't taste as good as the first glass of wine because the dopamine released from the second glass of wine only releases 25% of the first. So therefore, your 2 things happen. You go, second glass of wine, I won't finish it, I'll put it down.
Yes.
Or the brain goes, I should have another one of those and try and get back to that first. And then we get into the third glass of wine, and then alcohol takes over. And then we get into alcohol addiction because we want more of it, coupled with the dopamine. So if we clean up our phones, and what I mean by clean up your phones, when you pick up your phone, if you shut off all your notifications, when you pick up your phone and you've got that little red dot?
Yes.
That subconsciously says to your brain, not cognitively, but subconsciously, you've got a shitload of work that you've just missed out on. Look, you've got all those messages. And so you're like, oh, which one will I push first? And you're literally just going from one to one to one. And then it's overwhelming because I've got too many of them.
Yes.
And which one do I do first? And then noradrenaline comes in. And noradrenaline comes with, it goes from focus to excitement to hypervigilance to anxiousness.
Yes.
And so now all of a sudden I've got these feelings of anxiousness, this feeling of overwhelm, and this phone is just driving this.
Yes.
And I say to my doctor, this is what's happening to me. And he goes, or she goes, you may well have ADHD or you may have anxiety.
Yes.
In fact, you're just a stoner.
Yes.
And what we need to do is reduce and use our tool how we're meant to use it. We did some filming some years ago up in the Middle East, and it was around building a business centre, but part of that was giving people access to their phone, so it was on their dominant hand on the desk, and then they had to work on one piece of material that they chose for 1 hour, and they had 2 screens. And we were using eye tracking technology to track their pupil movement, and we were filming their hand movement.
Wow.
In 1 hour, and they were working, remember this, on a piece of work that they really wanted to do.
Yes.
They were allowed their email icon minimised, which was on the left-hand screen. They were working on the right-hand screen, and their phone was on their dominant hand.
Yes.
55 people for 1 hour. How many times do you think they touched their phone screen? And direction was you are not allowed to touch your phone. Oh. You're not allowed to touch your phone. How many times on average do you think they touch the screen of their phone?
I'm going to say 10.
57 times.
Even though they weren't allowed.
Weren't allowed
They
to.
can't help it. They just give it a touch.
Well, you have built a neural pathway. The brain is so plastic. The neuroplasticity is so phenomenal.
Yes.
You've now got a major neural pathway between your dominant hand and your phone screen.
Wow.
To the point that people are getting
believe it.
false vibrations. Like their brain is imagining that their phone is vibrated and they're picking it up and it hasn't gone
doesn't
off.
have anything on
it. Hasn't got anything. But then once they're there, they'll check all the apps just to see if they're, there must be something there.
Yes.
The eye movement was what was phenomenal, is over 363 times on average per hour, their eyes went from their minimised email icon to their screen to their phone. And every time your eyes move, that's noradrenaline, norepinephrine is being relieved, which is driving agitation.
Yes.
So now you've got a behaviour, which is the distracted brain, that looks identical on paper to ADHD.
Wow.
So those people that really do have ADHD are getting lost amongst all these wrongly diagnosed people.
Wow.
And so perhaps our medical care is not going to the right people because
Yes.
we're all receiving
Yes.
ADHD attention. And in fact, we've got many people have got a distracted brain that's just been driven by neurotransmitters. So if we clean up our phones and we get rid of all of our apps and just move all of our apps to the app page.
So when you have like folders.
Just open up your phone and it's got a clean screen on the front and it's got
No
your
notifications.
settings, it's got your a map. I've got my phone on there. I've got 4 icons on my, and there's no notifications. And then if I want to use Messenger or WhatsApp Business,
Yes.
it's just the next swipe over and it's all there in just one place in the app screen, but no notifications. So you can actually control how you use your phone because it's a tool, it doesn't own you.
Yes.
But dopamine is so addictive, we are driven by ownership. The phone owns us.
Couldn't you argue, though, that, the brain is clever enough that it will just get into the habit of picking it up and swiping straight away?
You could argue.
What is like the deterrent of putting it away, I guess, the notifications?
Yeah, I guess it's taking a little time to reflect how you feel.
Okay.
So when people, that's why I love the residential retreats. I love people coming to my retreat centre or the wilderness programs we
Yes.
run, is because the lived experience of being on retreat and actually not having your phone
Yes.
and
So
understand.
is that part of the expectation?
Yeah.
Is that you leave it behind?
And it's no, you can bring it absolutely because life is that I need connection, but
Yes.
we're really prescriptive about our connectivity. So first thing in the morning, we've naturally got high adrenaline and high
Yes.
dopamine, so no issue at all. You get into that phone, you do what you need for an hour, and we have it before breakfast, then we have breakfast and not after breakfast.
Okay.
Then at lunchtime, fill your boots.
Yes.
But you need to put it down about 40 minutes before you come back into our next session
Yes.
because generally it takes a good 30 minutes to decrease the stress from that email that you just read and you've just
Yes.
thought, and you've wound up because of the response.
I see.
And then at the end of the day, we do another 4 to 5 o'clock, but nothing after dinner.
Yes.
Because it is that dopamine and stress, the cortisol at the end of the day, that's now affecting our sleep. And of course, my gig is sleep mastery. That's my passion,
Yes, we'll get
is
to
getting
that.
people to sleep.
Yeah.
So you absolutely can control this device. You use it for what it's meant to be doing, but
Yeah.
it doesn't own you.
Yes.
But unless you reflect on physically, not mentally, physically how you feel,
Yes.
oh, look, my shoulders are less
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah.
I'm a bit more relaxed. I'm drinking more water.
Yes.
All these tools. Until you reflect on that, you don't actually understand how different you can physically
Wow.
feel and then mentally feel.
I have one more thing to add to it, just for you to solve for me. So, a part of you said the phone doesn't own you, but I feel like there's an expectation that we respond to the things
Yeah.
on the phone in a particular period of time, and things are constantly like urgent. It's almost like we need to set up like I don't know, like an out of office at all, to say, hey, I actually, maybe I've solved it.
Yeah, you just solved it.
Yeah.
So 2 days before, you start giving a precursor warning to your clients by
Yes.
putting an out of office on, even though you're in office, and saying
Yes.
every time they email, you'll just have an out of office that comes back as just a heads up. In
Yes.
2 days' time, I am actually going to be out of office.
Yeah.
I commit to checking my emails at
Yes.
8 a.m. in the morning. So if you get an email from me, the bottom of my signature block says, I will promise to check my emails at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m.
I love it.
I commit to that.
Yes.
And so you've answered it yourself. You set up a warning system for the team, and then you might be out for the day, but what you might say is I walk the kids, but when they're sitting to have morning tea, I'm going to jump on, I'm going to just have a script going, I'm going to have a quick look through my inbox, and I will answer those with I have received your email.
Yes.
I promise I'll be back to you by 4 p.m. So it's getting in front of the curve, not letting them come after you.
Yep.
So set the expectations. And when you onboard a new client, you might say, looking forward to really working with you, just to let you know that Tuesday afternoons between 2 and 4 and Thursdays afternoon between 2 and 4, I'm never available, but I'll have one of my team reach out and let me know that you've contacted me. So set up those expectations. So train your clients as they come on board.
Interesting. And I feel like to start that, you almost need to first decide what you want your day to look like. So like just as you mentioned in the retreat, you can check your phone at this. You almost have to actively plan your days for having those blocks.
Yeah. I think you've read Impact 4Q. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. So my second book was Impact 4Q. And
maybe for everybody else, maybe just mention the name of the book and...
Yeah, great. It's called Impact 4Q, the number 4Q. Say that quickly.
Yes.
And it's steeped in the neuroscience of Eisenhower's matrix. So it's my thought leadership on a very old model.
Okay.
And President Eisenhower, General Eisenhower, had a vertical of, a vertical of urgent and a horizontal of important. I felt we didn't need any more urgent. Everything, you just said it for you, everything's urgent.
Everything's urgent.
Actually, I always say, look out the window as a plane crashed.
Yes.
It's all context, man, because if a plane hasn't crashed and there's no burning people, it's not urgent.
Yes.
So let's just dial that back and then start. So the impact model is value and control. So Q1 and Q3, which is on the left-hand side of the vertical, is hamsters and monkeys. Yes. So you're on the hamster wheel of life, it's your kids, your business, it's entrepreneur life, it's normal. And some of us thrive in that because we're like pigs and poo with adrenaline, we love it. Some of us hate it.
Yeah.
And then Q3 is where people are hitting you from the side and they're bringing you their monkeys. So they're bringing you
I love that analogy.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I thought that was really fantastic. I have repeated it to quite a few people.
Yeah, it originally came from Steve Covey, and before Steve Covey, it came from a guy called Ankin in the 1950s from a Harvard Business Review. So it's certainly I'd use the metaphor or the analogy. But people bring you their monkey and they hand it to you and they're like, this is my monkey, can you feed it? And you're like, generally, because I'm so overwhelmed, because I'm on my hamster wheel, I'm like, leave it with me.
Yes.
I'll sort that out.
I'll sort it out.
All you do is you end up with 27 monkeys on your shoulders and they're not your freaking monkeys, right? So we need to say, that's a great question. How would you feed your monkey? And we need to coach. So we're constantly, as business leaders, and even as mothers and fathers and nurturers, is good question, what's available to you? Or good question, how about you come back to me with 1, 2, and 3 solutions?
Yes.
This is my fiscal parameters, can't spend more than this, got to meet these OSH standards. And I always remember something from my military where one of my fire chiefs came to me and said, with his fire boots, and said, put them on my desk and said, they're no good. But he was a little bit more colourful than that.
Okay.
And I said, I'm an operations, so I was his flight commander, but I wasn't a fireman.
Yes.
So I went the next week down to the fire station and I stood with all the firemen and I had a brown paper bag and I pulled out this lovely suede pair of boots with a 3-inch heel with fur around the top and I said, men, your fire chief came to me and said his boots sucked and that you needed new boots, so I've got these. And I think they're tremendous. I can run in 3-inch heels. I think they're fabulous and they're quite waterproof. And the face on these men, like this is 40 years ago.
Yes. They did not appreciate you taking the piss.
Well, they had no idea what I was coming from. And I was like, it's like this, you want new boots. You're a fireman. Tell me what the civilian fire services are using. Tell me what's available on the market. What's the lead time for delivery?
Yes.
How much do they cost? Which ones do you want?
Yes.
And based on my command responsibilities, I'll make a decision.
Yes.
But you've come to me with a problem.
And you want
boots. I'll give you freaking boots. But I have 3-inch heels and fur on the top. Like,
that's so good. Did anybody try and put them on?
No. No. But that's life, right? Yeah. You don't want to be solving people's problems all the time.
Correct.
So that model, when you're talking about is when you set up the rhythm of your day, you naturally have high levels of adrenaline and motivation in the morning. So
Okay.
get big stuff done in the morning. So critical conversations, difficult conversations, all the stuff that your brain is going to have to be strongly engaged in or causes you stress. Get it done in the morning.
Okay.
Afternoons, we run out of energy. Our epinephrine's dropping, it's our adrenaline, our motivation's dropping. We've probably had carbohydrates at lunchtime, so now we've got a sugar crash.
Yes.
We can change that a little bit by going high fat, high protein at lunchtime and using carbs at night for sleep because carbohydrates help build serotonin.
Okay.
And serotonin's a precursor to sleep, to melatonin. So then in the afternoons are softer. That's your just administration, it's your consolidation, it's getting emails done that are of no big stress, it's filing, it's creativity, it's you brainstorming with your team about what's our next product, where could we go. And then that's giving you a soft landing into the nighttime. But if you wait all day for those difficult conversations, you're not set up from a neurobiology point of view to have them. So now you're stressed because you've got to spend energy having big, difficult conversations. So if you learn to run your day, and we go back to you having a day off or going for your bushwalk, just set it up beforehand and then maybe have micro breaks in the middle where you are answering a couple of emails.
Yeah, so you don't get stressed out, when you do finally come back to it.
And if you go on leave for 2 weeks, people say, I hate going on holiday because when I come back, I've got 500 emails. Well, cool. Just set yourself up that once a day on your holiday for 1 hour a day in the morning, you might just jump into your email box. You've got an out of office. You might delegate some of those out and then just commit to putting it away.
Yes.
But also pre-program in your diary 2 hours extra a day for the first week back in for emails.
Yes.
So every morning you're going to be on a catch-up. You'll get through 15% of your email box. By the end of the week, you would have got through 100% of your backlog.
Yeah.
So it's about planning and thinking forward so you can come backwards.
I love it. There's so many great things. I think one of the ones that I want to move on to next is actually about sleep. So I know that you're passionate about sleep.
Yeah.
First of all, what time do you wake up and what time do you go to bed? And then talk to us about sleep.
Good questions. So, no, I'm not an early riser.
Okay.
I'm competent at being an early riser, but it's not a preference.
Okay.
I am a 10:15 to bed.
Okay.
Every single night.
How do you do that?
Nice question. Planning
Yes.
and hard graft, because I am actually quite an addictive personality. So I could comfortably work till 2 or 3 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I only just learned about Reels like a year ago, so that's how old I am. And I have done a science test because I'm a nerd as well. So when I first learned about Reels and people were talking about them a year ago, I thought, I'm going to try this. Got a notebook,
Yes.
opened up some Reels and made a note of the time I started and realised that I literally wasn't coming up for air. Like I wasn't even had any awareness of my environment until about an hour 15, hour 20 later, where my body went, no more adrenaline for focus, you need to. And I'm like, oh my God, look at the time.
So you basically tested yourself to see how long you could last before you
I wasn't
got
even
over
trying
it.
to last. I was just saying how long before I got bored with it.
Yes, yeah.
It's at least an hour and a half
That's a long time.
to your body. And that's why people are having these bad evenings, because they start on their reels and they think, I'll just have half an hour before bed. And then they look at their watches and it's 11:30.
Yeah.
And now I feel like a dick because I haven't got the dishes done. I haven't packed the lunches for tomorrow. I didn't get stuff done I was meant to do.
Yes.
So now I've got guilt. Now I've got shame.
Yeah.
And now I've got 2 options. I should have a glass of wine and watch some more. Or I
Might as well keep going.
Yeah, or I go to bed and I worry about it and I don't sleep.
Wow.
So the key to sleep is anchoring your bedtime to within 30 minutes of exactly the same time every night and anchoring your wake-up time.
Yes.
2 reasons. Every time you sleep in for more than an hour, you change your wake-up time by more than an hour. So normally say I get up at 7.
Yep.
If I get up at 8:30, my body actually starts to reset my whole circadian clock because it goes, your digestive juices now need to come on at 7:30 for an 8:30 get up. But when I get up at 7 o'clock, that my digestive juices and my metabolism starts at 6 a.m. But I've changed that.
Okay.
I changed it on Saturday. So it resets over Saturday night. And then I sort of repeat that behaviour on Sunday. I have a bit of a sleep in and the body goes, okay, got it. I'm going to start increasing your core body temperature about 5 a.m. I'm going to get your metabolism set up now because I know it's 8:30, right? We've got this. We've agreed 2 days in a row.
Yep.
I'm laying in bed, happy and replete on a Monday morning, and my subconscious body is going, this is cool, we've got an 8:30 wake up. And I get up at 6:30 and I start drinking coffee at 7 o'clock and goes, what are you doing? We just sorted it, with 2 days.
Yeah.
And then it takes all of Monday and all of Tuesday to reset again. And then we generally have a good Wednesday, Thursday. Friday's pretty good. And then
Doing it all over again.
we bugger it up on Saturday, Sunday.
So you recommend, even on the weekends?
Anchoring, even if you got out of bed and had a coffee at 7 a.m. and stuck your nose out the door and got some sunlight on the back of those retina, because the sunlight tells the melatonin to signal to stop, and it starts what's called adenosine signal. So adenosine, if you put petrol into a car, you get exhaust out, right?
Yeah.
When we burn fuel at a cellular level, the debris, the fumes, is called adenosine.
Okay.
Adenosine pushes sleep.
Okay.
Have you ever sat on the couch at 9 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night and dozed off? Just like...
It'll happen for me. Like, I might put my eldest daughter to, she still likes to be sung to sleep. She's 6. But I'll lie with her and then it's so warm. It's like dark and I might fall asleep myself. But then I feel like, I can't waste my evening.
Yeah.
I can't go to bed at this time.
Yeah.
So I'll get back up again and probably do all the wrong things to try and enjoy the evening.
Yeah, so many people misconstrue adenosine, which is they feel tired, for having enough melatonin, which is the signal that pulls sleep.
Okay.
So people will go to bed, say, at 10 o'clock, but they wake up at 1 or 2 in the morning.
Okay.
And the hamsters run around their brain and they can't get back to sleep.
Yep.
So the adenosine takes 3 to 4 hours to work out of your lymphatic system. So that debris from the day that's driving the sleep, melatonin is a sleep signal which only is triggered by light.
Yes.
So I think you've remembered me talking about one of the key sleep hacks for everybody in the world, and I'd change everybody's houses if I could, is
The low light?
As early as you can, get all your overhead lights off.
So that one, I must say, I've taken on board.
How did that go for you?
It does feel like it calms the setting. It calms everything down.
Yeah.
It's definitely more relaxed. You'll have the science behind it, but just from like a thought perspective, you feel like there's a shift in the mood.
Yes, beautiful. So it's the shift of environment. It's the shift from one phase of the day to the next phase that we're looking for. So the body goes, I know what's coming next. So the science behind it is the neurons in the upper eye receive the angle of the light.
Okay.
When we turn off the overhead lights, we've now changed and we put on a side lamp, we've changed the angle of the light into the eye.
Yes.
So what we've said to the subconscious brain, the sun has set on the horizon because the angle is entering my eye from the side. Okay. So therefore, that is the signal to say start making melatonin.
Okay.
And that will build rapidly melatonin. And people will say to me, I've got dimmers on my lights. And I'm like, that's nice. That's just a cloudy day, you numpty.
Oh,
because it's the same freaking angle. I won't say that. That's very impolite of me.
So it's very important, the
very
actual
important.
height
It's
of the
the
light.
angle of the light. It's not the tone of the light. It's not. Yes, it's great to go from bright white overhead to a orange hue.
Okay.
Absolutely, that adds the benefit.
Yeah.
And yes, a dimmed light overhead is better than a bright white light, but it is the angle. So dimming the lights is
in the lounge as well? Not
in
just
the lounge,
bedrooms?
particularly the lounge.
Okay.
And the kitchen is the killer, right?
How does this, sorry to interrupt you, how does this go with televisions? I mean, they're not low lights, are they? They're bright
but the angle. So yes, they are stimulating, and the screen is, but they are nowhere near as stimulating as your phone or an iPad.
Yep.
Because remember we talked right at the beginning about aperture?
Yes.
So the narrower the screen you're looking at, the higher your noradrenaline, your energy, your focus.
Yes.
Well, a TV's a very wide screen.
Wow.
Particularly all the modern TVs. You know, like my days, it was a 12-inch black and white. Nowadays, you've got 70 inches.
Yeah.
And so that's really wide.
Not to mention, though, that the content is also a lot more stimulating than it probably used to be as well.
Yeah, but it's not as stimulating as being able to constantly swap on a reel on your phone where your thumb's going.
Yeah,
so
you
now
have to follow a narrative.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so if you did anything at night, watching TV would be much less stimulating than watching reels and YouTube and all that sort of stuff. So for me, anchoring sleep times is really important.
Okay.
At the 2 hours before bed.
Yes.
Really quick segue to melatonin, because I know a lot of people are using subscribed or supplement melatonin. The human body only makes 0.3 milligrams of melatonin a night. 0.3 milligrams.
Okay.
basically a prescribed supplement is 5 to 10 milligrams.
Okay, so is it because it's a different type of substance?
It's just way overdiagnosed. Like it's prescribed, way overprescribed. So microdosing with melatonin is okay, and that would be less than 1 to 3 milligrams.
Okay.
Absolutely. But 5 to 10 is just smacking, and the body can't do enough with it. So it'll get you to sleep, but it won't hold you asleep. It's urinated out really quickly, so prescribed melatonin goes out through the system. Much of the prescribed melatonin comes from pigs' brains, just so you know, or made in a laboratory.
Okay.
So I'm not saying don't use prescribed melatonin, but be aware within about 48 hours of taking prescribed melatonin at 5 to 10 milligrams, your own hormonal system is shut down.
Wow.
So remember, it's a hormone.
Yes.
So if I said to you, how old's one of your children?
6 and 2 4-year-olds.
A 6-year-old boy, girl?
Girl.
So I say to you, you've got a 6-year-old, I'd like you to give her some estrogen.
Yeah.
You'd go, sorry?
Yeah.
Well, it's a hormone.
Yes.
Well, I'm giving you melatonin, which is also a hormone, and we're all nodding stupidly and going, yes, sure, doctor, or sure, whoever, or I'll buy that because I can buy it in North America.
Yeah.
But it's a hormone.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly powerful, and then we're prescribing at a level that's 600% higher than what our body's making.
And you probably need to be then giving more and more for it to still work.
Well, because your own natural system has shut down. 48 hours, not going to make any more melatonin. Why do I need making melatonin? You're loading me with this hormone. So it's used by elite athletes for travel, for jet lag. It's used for performance and business people and entrepreneurs that are travelling. But that's the purpose. It's a tool to use at a set time.
Yes, not every day, not to rely on it.
So just be really aware of it and do some research for yourself. If your children and yourself are taking melatonin, go and listen to Dr. Andrew Huberman. Go and listen to Dr. Peter Attia. Go and find out the experts and the neuroscientists and the MDs that know this stuff and have got brilliant data on it, and really listen and take some advice.
Smashing PBs is brought to you by 40 Thieves, award-winning producers of New Zealand's tastiest peanut butter, almond butter and superfood butters. Every spoonful is packed with protein, healthy fats and all the goodness you need for fueling everyday and epic adventures. Grab your next jar at your local Woolworths, New World, Pack and Save and the Warehouse supermarkets and start smashing your personal bests.
The other thing is, think about your lighting in your bathroom. This sounds really weird, but you can build up, taking about an hour and a half to build enough melatonin to pull your sleep through the night.
Yes.
And you can go to the bathroom, turn that light on, and in 0.4 of a second, all that melatonin's gone. Because you've stimulated a stress response.
Yep.
So use night lights everywhere, night lights up the hall. So dim those, get those overhead lights off in the lounge, get those overhead lights in the kitchen, the whole house at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Summer's a bit more difficult because of it, it's lighter later. But as much as you can, and just use night lights everywhere. Okay. When I travel, I take night lights with me.
Amazing.
I have 2 sets of bulbs in my, sounds really weird, 2 sets of bulbs in my suitcase. They're orange lights. One's a screw-in set and one's a bayonet set.
I'll share links to all of these things that we've been talking about.
Absolutely. And I go into my hotel room and I change my bedside lamps immediately.
Amazing.
So that when I go out for the night and I come back in, I've got ambient light. I've got that orange light. It's only my bedside lights and my night light's already on in my bathroom. So I don't come into that hotel, those bright lights, and I just destroy my melatonin.
Wow.
And so I destroy my sleep. So we'll do sleep another time. It's a real science. But the hack, get the overhead lights off as early in the night as you can. Use side lamps. Use orange tone bulbs and set up a routine so it's exactly the same routine.
Yep.
In the same order every single night. And that will decrease that dopamine, that curiosity, what's coming next, that novelty. And it will anchor, the brain will go, I know what's coming next.
So we've talked about sleep. We've talked about phone addiction. I feel like a lot of it is, and we've talked about setting up our day and, getting ahead of the curve, taking ownership of your day. And I guess this is all really related to what I'm passionate about, which is, how to live your personal best life, how to smash your PBs. What about movement? How does this all tie in? Like, do you have a particular time of day? Do you have what are your thoughts on how movement helps, you live achieve your goals and live your best self?
The human body was made to move, and it was actually made to move about 14 hours a day.
Wow.
So it's meant to be moving. And there's a difference between movement and exercise.
Yes.
Massive difference.
Tell us
And
the
people
difference.
Well, movement is what we should be doing all the time, which is just, moving our body 10,000 steps, 15,000 steps. I don't care what it is. It's just moving. It's up and down. It's lifting. It's being able to pick up things without straining. Exercise is where we're training our cardiovascular system. So we're trying to increase longevity through an increased ability to oxygenate our blood and have a lower resting pulse, because we want to use our heart less and all those things. So exercise is different from movement.
Okay.
Movement's essential. And when we live at a rate, my baseline when I'm living at the Eco Village, which is where I'm living now, because our whare and our living spaces are separate, my baseline's 6,000 steps a day without even exercising.
Yeah, there's no convenience. It's not right there.
It's not right there. I get out of bed and I have to walk 30 seconds, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's about 200 steps to go and get my coffee.
Yeah.
And then I've got to go back and have a shower, and then I go to such and such. So you're moving all the time. I have got a horse. I'm always picking up heavy things. So people need to move.
Yes.
And it also decreases the stress response really, really, really quickly. So the one thing that will decrease cortisol, cortisol is your stress drug, neurotransmitter, but stress isn't a bad thing. Stress isn't performance enhancing.
Yeah.
It's when it's overwhelming
Yeah.
and we haven't learned to control the stress response that it becomes too much for us. And so movement basically says to the body, it's okay, we're moving, we're in a soft environment, we've slowed our breath work,
Yes.
so we're just moving, we're walking. So have walking meetings. Between meetings, just and be the 2%. And by that I mean, you get to an office and there's a lift, don't use a lift.
Yeah.
Do the 6 stories of stairs.
Wherever you see an opportunity to move.
Go to a
instead
shopping
of-
centre and there's a escalator, got the stairs.
Yeah.
Wherever there's an opportunity to step.
Interesting.
And it just helps massively.
And what about exercise?
We need exercise to increase that cardiovascular system. So if we are, from a neurobiology point of view, and everyone's different, remember, so this is just generic.
Yes.
Normally, because of that high level of adrenaline, natural adrenaline and natural dopamine in the morning, it's a great time to do big exercise. So if I was doing technical footwork because I was a soccer player, I'd be doing my technical footwork in the morning when my adrenaline is really high for focus and my motivation's really high.
Yes.
I would be doing my long, soft run in the afternoon when I have less focus.
Yeah.
For one of the things I'm working on is designing an app that measures the aperture of your pupil. So pupil dilation tells you what your noradrenaline levels are, your norepinephrine. What that tells me is if you're an athlete and you used my app and you held it up and the eye tracking would see your pupil dilation and would say to you, say you're a young All Black or you're a Black Fern, you're about to go on the pitch and it's 8:30 at night, your adrenaline is way too low, baby. Like, you need to ramp this up. So we'd use breath work to increase our adrenaline. We'd go,
to get you hyped up.
So we'd hype ourselves up. Or it might measure it and go, whoa, you're way over the top. We need to decrease your adrenal load before you go on that field. And we'd use breath work in through the nose, slow, and out through the mouth.
Yes.
Or we might use neurophysiological sighs, which are where you breathe in. I'm going to do one. Is that all right? You go through the nose. You go. So it's one long, and then it's a top up, and then it's a breathe out through pursed lips.
And what does this do?
And so that rapidly decreases your adrenal load, rapidly decreases your heart rate, because slow, controlled breath work, not a but through pursed lips. Looked like a cat's bum. Imagine that. Then you can pursed lips.
I love it.
Then you will tell your body, oh, there's no need to panic. You're breathing slowly. I'm going to decrease my adrenaline. I'm going to stop producing cortisol and adrenaline. So you can control your stress response, but you've just got to know that how to get it up and how to get it down.
Wow.
And so energy, depending on when you're training, but if you train at 9 o'clock at night, because it's the only time you've got to go to the gym, you're going to get home at 10 or 10:30, your adrenal load's going to be way off the scale. And it's not going to be conducive to sleep because melatonin and adrenaline can't coexist in the blood.
Okay. So you actually have to have a bit of a gap between
You're going to come home and go, I'm going to forfeit the amount of sleep I have.
Wow.
Because I'm going to spend an hour now decreasing that cortisol and that adrenal load.
Yes.
And I'm just going to sit in the lounge with my lights off, my lamps on, and I'm just going to write some journal. I'm just going to dump everything that's in my brain. I'm going to have a cup of tea. I'm not going to pick up my phone. and I'm going to decrease that adrenal load so that my melatonin can come up so I can sleep. But if you come home from the gym, have a shower, hop in bed, your sleep quality will be really poor. You may sleep because the adenosine load is so high and you're tired, and that's going to come
You wake up, but you're not refreshed.
You wake up, you're not refreshed.
Interesting.
That's exactly right.
So, okay, so we're back to sleep, but I feel like that's your thing anyway. I track my sleep. Let's see what it says. Hold on. It's probably not going to be very good because you're not going to be happy with this. I had 6 hours and 27 minutes.
That's fine.
Okay. Fair, apparently. Score 78. That doesn't sound that bad.
What was your deep sleep and your REM sleep?
Deep, 1 hour 25.
That's high.
Is it?
That's really high.
Okay, so I'm winning. Light, 3 hours 43. REM, what is it? 1 hour 19. Oh no, it says your length of sleep was a bit shorter than recommended, but you had good deep sleep.
Yeah, that's great deep sleep. And just be
What
aware
did I do last night?
that there can be, well, that's a good question to ask yourself, right?
Yeah.
So what
Actually, do you know what I did?
Yeah.
I've decided to teach myself how to play guitar. And so I didn't go on my phone at all. I just played guitar.
There you go.
Far out. There you go. I've hacked it.
Yeah. So you decreased rapidly your cortisol, your stress response. You increased serotonin, which is satisfaction and happiness. And serotonin is a precursor to melatonin.
Wow.
So you set yourself up for, even though it was a shorter sleep, for a much better, deeper sleep. So that's a really good correlation. So I'm glad you brought up data, because wearables are for the purpose of asking ourselves, what did I do last night to set up that sleep that either was for the positive or for the negative?
Yes.
And what's the opportunity?
Yeah.
It's not to tell you what sort of day you're going to have.
Yeah.
And most people will look at their sleep data and go, oh, I'm going to have a shit day today. Oh, look at that, 68%, I'm done.
Yeah.
No, it's subjective.
Okay.
I feel fantastic. I sleep for 4 hours. I feel bloody fantastic.
Yes.
It's no issue. But what did I do last night that set me up to have a poor sleep score?
I see.
So the one thing that wearables on your wrist won't give you is your core body temperature.
I see.
So I'm always looking. That's why I use the Aura ring.
Have you got one on?
Yeah.
Oh,
My
show
Aura.
us.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it actually looks quite nice.
I know.
You've popped that in between
my diamonds. Yeah,
beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful. Okay.
So I use it as my wedding band because I'd rather have data than have a wedding band. I've been married for 33 years. I know I've been married, right?
Yeah.
And I did give my daughter our wedding band. I didn't just put it aside. Wearables on your fingers, so Aura and even the Ultrahuman, which is the new one that's out. And I've run a study. I've just done 6 weeks with wearing an Ultrahuman, an Aura and a Garmin.
Yes.
Aura consistently is higher, more accurate data over the whole range. Ultras, heart rate variability, resting pulse, and core body temperature was very accurate.
Wow.
Garmin or watches don't do core body temperature.
Yeah.
And so there's about a 60 to 68% accuracy from it on your wrist, and there's about a 70 to 75% accuracy on your finger.
Okay.
So you're getting an increased accuracy on your finger, but remember, it's just a guide to say, what did I do last night that affected my sleep?
Yeah.
Could be what I ate, could be what I drank. So the devices are really just a training tool for us to go back and go, how am I going to plan my perfect evening or my best possible practices so that I get consistent sleep?
Well, how do you stop yourself from becoming obsessed? Because I give an example. A decade ago, there was I was a little bit more engaged in what I ate, for example. So I had salads for lunch. I had carrot juice as a treat. Oh dear. Anyway, I found that by eating really, really healthy all the time, I was kind of obsessed with eating. You become a little bit obsessed with it. And then now I kind of don't put much focus on it and I eat whatever I want, really. But I'm still healthy. But I guess I make good choices mostly. But I guess I don't track it. I don't think about it too much. I kind of just go with what I feel like. How do you ensure that you don't become obsessed with your own data, obsessed with getting all of these things right, and then getting into a personal hate spiral if you messed it up?
Good question. So one of my clients who's in Dubai, he's a trader. I've just told him to take his Aura ring off. Okay. So his Aura ring's gone into his top drawer because he's become obsessed. Okay. And it's not serving him.
Yeah.
He's, mid-40s, baby on its way, horrendous trading environment around the world, massive press, and he's just going down a spiral of obsessiveness and self-doubt. So I'm no good, I'm not doing this, I'm undisciplined, I'm, all these things. Take it off. Have an accountability partner who you message at 1 p.m. every day and go, hey, now we're going to look at our data.
Yeah.
So you don't hop up and look at your data. That's the key thing, is don't hop up and look in your data.
Yeah.
If it's causing you concern, go to an old analog watch. One of the biggest increases of anxious feelings is actually digital watches because they vibrate. And the screen lights up all the time. And when
I've turned that off.
Yeah. So if I was talking to you and your screen lit up, my noradrenaline would go up looking at your screen because my subconscious would go, she's not paying attention, she's going to be distracted. So if you do have any form of anxiousness or you're constantly concerned about stuff, go back to an old analog watch, get rid of the shit off your wrist because that is driving dopamine and compulsive behaviour. So it's driving that norepinephrine, that constant hypervigilance. So go back to analog.
Wow. Yeah. So I guess
know yourself.
Know yourself. Like
know yourself.
If it's helping you and it's giving you data, as you say, and you're enjoying it and you're learning and you're improving, keep going. As soon as you find yourself obsessing, take a step back, take it off, put on a beautiful piece of jewellery again. And
old-fashioned watch.
Yeah, and then give it another shot when you're ready.
Yeah, or use a coach because a coach can actually lead you through that really well and actually put perspective in it. So once you've got perspective, it's fine. But otherwise, you will. You may not quite know how to use the data as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And you'll you'll be looking at the wrong things in the data.
Is this? I'm going to segue to your retreats because we've touched on them. Maybe first, tell me about what your retreats are, and then I'm going to ask a few questions about it.
Thank you. So there's 2 forms of retreats that I lead. So I've got a RET, which is an eco retreat in the Taurua Forest Range. We're 1 hour from Wellington, 45 minutes from Palmerston North. We're a bespoke retreat, so 14 beds only, and we're off-grid. So there's no plugs in your whare, there's twin shares. You can have single occupancy if you want. You've got to go outside to these beautiful bathrooms, but it's got friction. It's got environmental friction because when you have friction in your environment, you're vulnerable. If you live in a luxury hotel and you've got beautiful linen, well, actually we have lovely linen and we have beautiful towels and dressing gowns, but if it's all singing and dancing and there's no discomfort, you're not very vulnerable. And it's at the end of the day, you go back to your room away from your retreat companions and you get back onto your phone. And so you're actually not living the experience, you're not actually in the experience. Where a RET is from the Greek word aret, which means men and women of aret, people of aret, were men and women of courage, humour and innovation. So they were people of good character. And above us in the Taurua is a rete, which is the peak. So a rete overlooks a ret.
Wow. How cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So the purpose of the retreats are either to learn sleep mastery, to learn based on my first book, which was Dream, Plan, Do, Be. So standing in the future and looking backwards so that you can plan forward. And using that RAS that we were talking, off sound before.
Quickly give RAS what that stands for.
RAS is the reticular activating system, and it's the filter on the top of the brain that filters millions of data points an hour, in fact a minute, millions of data points. And what it does is it sorts through what you've said cognitively is important to you. So the thing with the RAS, this comes back to your ability to control your emotions and to also find synergies, find the law of attraction, is that if you visualize, so there's science in visualize, it's not woo-woo, like meditating and visualization is actually steeped in neuroscience because we've given the RAS what's important to us. And now the RAS will filter the data from the day to meet what you've said is cognitively important to you. So
we should be adding that into our morning routines.
Absolutely. So literally the first words that go through your brain in the morning, the RAS goes, oh, okay. So I said to you, so you hop up in the morning and you put your feet on the floor and go, it's going to be a crap day. But so much to do. And it's raining.
Can't do it. It's too hard.
As soon as you do that, the brain goes, oh, having a crap day is important to you. Let me help you with that. And you walk out to the kitchen and you stand in the cat's sick and the kids are feral and it's raining, you haven't got an umbrella, and it's just, and that's where the term one of those days came from. It's one of those days.
Yeah. You already told your brain.
You told your brain and your brain said, well, here's all the shit. What's wrong with you? You've said it was important to you. Invert that, reframe it and go, it's going to be a big day, but I've got this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure I take a break at 10 o'clock. I'm going to go for a walk, get some movement. I'm going to make sure I've got all my bottles of water. I'm going to hydrate all day. Going to take my supplements. And the brain will go, let me find some synergies for you that help with that. And, sometimes you'll just meet somebody and you go, oh my gosh, you're the person I needed to meet.
Wow.
That is because the RAS knows what to look for.
Wow.
So opportunities will come up because the RAS is now filtering the whole world to meet what you've said is important to you.
Wow. I freaking love that.
Yeah,
I love that. That is so cool. So back to the retreat. So that's what you're...
One of the things I'm treating.
Teaching.
Yeah, I'm teaching you to go, I want you to articulate what your future dream looks like.
Yeah.
I'm going to challenge you if you're slightly delusional.
Yeah.
And I'll give an example of delusion. I had a beautiful woman once. She came to me. She was earning about $120,000. She'd been seeing a therapist for a while. She'd got divorced. She wanted to change her life. She wanted to become an artist. And her therapist had said to her, you can be whatever you'd like to be.
Okay.
I'm sitting there going, what do you want to be? And she goes, well, I'm going to paint rocks. And I'm sort of looking around this room like, be nice, because I'm a little bit blunt, as you may have noticed.
You've been very well versed on here.
Yeah, and I said to her, that's interesting. Yep. So how much will you sell each rock for? Well, I sell them currently at the market, $7.50. How many do you sell a weekend? Oh, about 10. Cool. So $120,000 divided by $7.50 is how many rocks? It's quite a few.
That's a lot of rocks.
The other thing is, I've got a question for you. Can you show me one of your rocks? So you can't paint either. So
did her mouth drop?
So, and you could see the other woman in the room. But it's okay, because how about we go, for the next year, I'm going to learn to paint. I'm going to go and get coaching lessons. I'm going to go to an artist. I'm going to learn, and I'm going to hone the skill.
Yes.
Then I'm going to go back to 4 days a week, and I'm going to paint for 1 day a week and see what income I can land. Because if I could sell the rocks at $38.50 each, because they're really high quality, and I could sell 10 of those a day online, then that's $380 a day.
Yeah.
Then I'm getting close to getting up to my $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to come back to 3 days a week. But I'm not going to quit my job in 4 months' time and paint rocks because that's delusional.
Yes.
So I don't want to be unkind, but what I want to do is set you up for success and going, so in 5 years' time, you want to be earning this amount of money and doing this.
Yes.
What are your gaps?
Yeah.
What do we need to close?
Yeah.
And when are you going to close those gaps?
Yes.
And then who's your accountability partner?
Yeah.
So we take you right through that process, and it's a stunning process, and the epiphanies that happen, and it gives people control.
Yeah.
Because they know what they need to do to walk towards. And we talked this morning a little bit about most people they don't make adventurous changes in their lives because change is uncomfortable.
Yep.
And they cogitate their belly buttons for years and years and years, because what we've got now is comfortable.
Yep.
And moving there is uncomfortable.
Yes.
And so I'll stay here. And then I die with regrets.
Yep.
Right, so if we think about the ship as the metaphor against that wharf, ship's tied up. It takes all of its engine and all of its crew to get ready to move off that wharf. So you just got to make, a bit like your podcast, you made a decision.
Yes.
So you were tied up against the wharf, you used all your energy and you've pushed off from that wharf, and now you're sailing, you're going to Tahiti, right, with your podcast. But you might go, a few months out and go, actually, it's not quite what I want.
Yeah.
I'm not quite talking about what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to change by 1 degree. And 30,000 miles at 1 degree is going to be 13,000 miles of different location of where I'm landing.
That. So it's a small shift.
Small, tiny shift.
Yes.
Then stop, measure.
Yeah.
What does it feel like?
Yeah.
Cool, tick. What's next?
That is so wise.
Because even when you get your dream, 30,000 jars of peanut butter or butter, nut butter a week.
Yep.
Well, that's the first one. Well, what's the next one?
Yeah.
It's 60,000. Okay, so you never stop dreaming. So you get to that dream, you sit in that space, you go, pat yourself, great, what did I learn?
Yeah.
Okay, I learned this. What did I learn that I wouldn't do? So what would I do more of?
Yep.
So every time you achieve something, reflect. What am I going to repeat because it worked for me? And what am I going to go actually? Because so many people repeat the same crap time and time again, and they didn't learn anything from it because they didn't stop to go, what would I do more of? What would I do less of?
Yeah.
So that's what the retreat's for.
Oh,
and
amazing.
then yoga practitioners and wellbeing practitioners hire the space.
Yes.
And my leadership teams come in and we do strategic planning.
Amazing.
And I generally, they'll bring their own facilitator for the high-level business governance work.
Okay.
And I'll just do the drop-in neuroscience around planning and controlling the stress response.
Wow.
But it's a stunning space.
Yeah, it sounds
absolutely
fantastic.
beautiful,
I feel like we've talked so much about science and so much about how, I can see how passionate you are about helping people make changes in their lives that are actually simple and make, have a huge impact. How does your family respond to all of this? Are they on board with you? Do they let you do your own woo-woo stuff? Or how does your family, are they all in or do they leave you on the sideline to go on with it?
Such a good question. My daughter has been studying nutrition. She's in Canada, and she's actually not following me, but she's certainly aligned in much of what she's doing, and she's used all her life what she's observed from leadership tools. And I've got a couple of stepsons, and one of my stepsons, the youngest one, said to me just last week, I was so pleased, Mum, that I had you in my life because I learned about leadership.
That's so nice.
At an early age, and I've been able to apply that.
Wow.
My brother's a little bit older than me, and he's had some health issues, so I'm just bringing him online with some supplements, and because I've got some really good protocols around supplements, totally different subject. And so, and my husband pretty much lives by, lives and dies by the sword. Yeah. So he's fit, he's 70, he's fit, he's strong, he's out in the forest all the time.
Wow.
We've always eaten, we've been married 33 years, and I don't serve frozen food.
Yeah. You cook health,
cook is my language of love.
Wow.
So when I have a retreat, I cook for you. If I'm in country, I do all of the food because it's and the other thing is I like to talk at you, not with you. So when I'm at a retreat.
You've got so much good stuff to say, I feel like no one can argue. That's fine. I'll be talked at.
But I love food. Food is my gig, but it's so nourishing.
Yes.
It should be provided with love, and it should be really healthful.
It's so nice. So I would say then I'm going to end on you living your personal best. It's such a service. You're giving service to others. You're almost, tell me if I'm wrong, but seeing other people improve their lives through your teachings. Would that be how you would measure your own success or your own personal best? Yeah,
my PB is to always continuously learn, which is why I'm starting a PhD journey at 60.
Of course you are. I love it.
So,
I love it.
I'm fully into that next year.
That is so cool.
Which is what you do.
Yeah.
And
why not? I mean, your brain
I just love learning. I've got so much. I haven't even plateaued.
You look so young as well. You keep saying these numbers, and your face is fresh, and
my
you're obviously doing
face,
all the right things.
And my personal best is reflected in the joy I see in people who all of a sudden I'll get a message from a mother going, my kids are going to bed now. And
so
they were diagnosed with separation anxiety, and they don't have separation.
No.
They don't have attachment disorder. They just weren't getting enough of their parents after work, and all we had to do was, for example, one of the little protocols that I teach entrepreneur families, so when you've got you and your husband and you're in the business and you've got multiple kids, is just get your kids to design a little sign that says Kids Zone.
Wow.
And when you come home from work and you've picked the kids up from daycare, you walk in the kitchen, the kid's going to hang the sign, and the sign gets hung in the kitchen, it says Kids Zone.
Wow,
then they come to you and they get your mums and dad's phones and they take them to a little shoebox.
So cool.
And they've made a bed. And the two phones go into bed, they put sheets on them.
Oh my gosh.
The phones have got sheets, get covered up, plug them in, they get recharged. They turn on aeroplane mode. And mum and dad cook, play with the children, commit to know we're not talking about work for 2 hours, we're just committing.
Yeah.
You might not end up even playing with your kids. They might be watching TV, but they know that you're present. They can get an answer. They can get your attention when they want it. And literally lights off, dinner, read a book, those overhead lights off, kids walk up the hallway, go to bed. And only last week a mother, same thing. My kids are sleeping. It's unbelievable. And it was just lights and it was just Kids Zone. Yeah. That's all it was. and that's simple. So that, for me, that's my personal best.
I love it. I love it. Oh, thank you so much, Sally. Such a dream. I'm
My
so
pleasure.
glad that you said yes to this podcast. Are you a smooth or a crunchy fan?
Oh, I'm a crunchy.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
That's
amazing.
yours. So just give me a little tap and to Smashing PBs.
Fantastic,
I'll
yeah.
see you out there smashing PBs.
Perfect.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Smashing PBs, brought to you by 40 Thieves, New Zealand's best peanut butter for fueling every day and epic adventures. If this episode inspired you, please like, subscribe and share with like-minded legends. Now go grab a jar of 40 Thieves from your local supermarket and start smashing PBs.